In this video, I'm going to show you a strategy anyone can use to make $100 a day in profit, not revenue, by selling used books on Amazon FBA. What's going on? My name is Matthew Osborn, and we're going to dive into how to make $100 a day profit selling used books on Amazon. If you want to learn more about starting and running an Amazon business, be sure to subscribe to the channel below to be notified when future videos just like this are released. All right, let's dive in and figure out how to do it. As with all good plans, let's start with the end in mind. If the goal is $100 a day, that means $36,500 a year. Now, we could do a lot of complicated math and work backwards, figuring out how many books we need to list to sell and hit our goal of $100 a day, or we could just use this handy dandy spreadsheet right here to calculate it for us. I'll give you your own free copy of this spreadsheet completely free at the end of this video. All right, so now you're gonna see 6 green boxes right here that we have the ability to edit the figures inside of them. These boxes are estimates that will really help us formulate a plan for what's required to achieve our goal of $100 profit per day. Box number 1 is our starting inventory. We're going to assume if you're watching this that you've never sold on Amazon before, so let's leave this number at 0 and say you have 0 for your starting inventory. Okay, box number 2 is books listed per week. Now this number is great to mess around with and see what's possible depending on how much work you put in, but just for the moment, we're going to leave this box at 0 as well. Box number 3 is your buy cost. This will vary widely depending on where you live, but a typical buy cost is going to be $1 to $3 per book if you're generally scouting at libraries and thrift stores and things like that. You might get lower, you might be a little higher. I did this in Denver, which is definitely a large city, and my average buy cost was $1.99. So I think $2 is a very realistic estimate for this. Now onto box number 4, inbound shipping. This is how much it costs to ship your boxes to an Amazon warehouse so they can store and fulfill your items to the customer when they're purchased. This is called Amazon FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. We're going to land right in the middle here as well and say 33 cents per pound since we're getting Amazon shipping rates. Now for box number 5, we'll adjust our turn rate. Turn rate is the percentage of inventory you sell per week. Again, this can vary depending on what you do, but if you follow the repricing advice I give on this channel, you can expect an average of 4 to 6% per week selling Amazon FBA. I average 6%, so we're going to stick with 6% for this example. Lastly is box 6, and this is your average sale price. This is how much you think the average book will sell for. If you scout regularly at libraries and thrift stores, this average can be up or down, but we're going to guess $20 as an average sale price for this estimation. Now remember, this is an average, so you'll probably sell a lot of $12 books and you'll sell a few $80 books, and your overall average will be roughly $20 per book. That is what we are estimating for this. All right, now let's head back to box number 2, books listed per week. Let's start out just with a test and say, let's what happens if we list 25 books a week. This is extremely easy to do. You could do this scouting one night a week for just a couple hours. So let's see what the results are. If we were to do 25 books per week, at the end of year 1, we could expect a revenue of $18,500 and a profit of $7,238. Now, you might notice year 2 and year 3, this changes a little bit. And this is the reason why so many people quit Amazon. They don't understand the principle called equilibrium. Equilibrium is the point at which you begin selling the same number of items each week that you are listing. This takes time because as you list more, your inventory grows, therefore you sell more each week. For example, let's say you list 100 items in your first week. If you have a turn rate of 6%, this means you'll sell 6 items in week 1, leaving you with 94 items in your inventory. Now let's say in week 2 you also list 100 items. Well, now we have 194 items in inventory. We sell 6% again, and now we've roughly sold 12 items in week 2. This cycle keeps repeating itself and repeating itself until you eventually start selling every week what you are listing every week. And this is called equilibrium. Above example, we hit the equilibrium point at about 62 weeks, which is just about a little bit after the end of our first year of selling. Here is why this is important to understand. So many people start selling on Amazon assuming if they list 100 items, it takes a lot of work for them. They should see the results of that in week 2, week 1, something like that. When the first weeks go by and they sell 6 items, and then week 2 they sell 12 items, they quit early, not understanding if they just kept consistent and stayed there a little longer, it would have grown exponentially. It really is a game of consistency. All right, but enough with that rant. Let's figure out what we need to do to make $100 per day. So in the books listed per week box, let's type in 80 and see what happens. So at 80 books per week, we have a profit of roughly $23,000 year one and $36,000 in year two, which makes it right about the $100 profit per day by year two. But let's say you want to put in a little bit more effort. You want to get to $100 profit per day by the end of year one. Let's change this number to 125 books every single week. So if we list 125 books a week, we'll get to our $100 per day goal by the end of year one. But look what happens in year two and three. Even if we continue listing 125 books every single week, in year two and three, we'll be at roughly $57,000 of profit per year. That's $156 a day. That's just shy of the median household income in the US. Not the average income, the average household income in the US. I want you guys to grab this sheet, mess around with some of these numbers, figure out something that looks possible for you in your situation, and then stay consistent with your plan. Grab a free copy at matthewosborn.co/weekly planner, also linked to in the bio below. Thank you guys for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.